How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today Wargaming are going to be making some big changes to some of the tanks, some of the game mode requirements, and they're also going to be adding in some extra stuff. And there's been some confirmed news about the release of the Italian TDs, which definitely sucks because it means that we're not getting them as quickly as we'd like. Unfortunately, they did say that on the 23rd of May we would be getting them, so that would be a week on Tuesday, but yeah, unfortunately it's not going to be the case. So let's jump into some information about all of this and get Wargaming's official statement on everything that will be coming in the next few weeks. So next week, we do have an earn operation so you can pick up the Patriot T26E5, which I'll do a full review of the tank, so stay tuned on the channel. We'll do a big review of what that tank is. It's a tier 8 heavy tank from the American line, and it is somewhat similar to, I don't know, the Super Pershing, I guess, when you think about the tank in terms of its alpha damage. The armor model, probably nowhere near as good as the Super Pershing, but it does have a far more consistent actual tank. It's a little bit faster, I believe, maybe not, depending on what equipment setup you're using, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, and certainly a decent heavy tank to pick up. So yeah, looking forward to getting the earn operation for this. Obviously, earn operations, usually it's a point-based system. You know, for example, deal 1,000 damage, you get 1 point, or it might be like, if you come top on the team, you get 5 points. If you come second to third, you get 3 points. And if you come fourth and fifth on the team by XP, then you'll get, I don't know, 1 point. So yeah, it's usually that sort of thing, or it'll be just like get so many XP, and then you'll get the first stage done, get more XP to get the second stage, more XP to get the third, and so on and so on. And each one you'll get extra rewards. So yeah, it should be an interesting one. It's probably that sort of thing. But of course, free premium, no one's going to complain about that. And of course, it's nice if you're just playing the game anyway. But then we have the damage dealers. So this is a place in the top 5 damage dealers on your team to get extra silver. So we'll be able to get some extra silver. I believe in the past it was 1.5 times silver or 1.25 times silver. It's not double silver usually, from what I can remember. But yeah, it'll be an extra bit of silver for you guys to actually get. And then there'll be a booster sale, times 5 vehicle XP, times 8 commander XP, and times 2 silver boosters will be in the store as well. So nice to have. And then trade-in event is also coming back next week, which is once again one of the worst events in my opinion for you to pick up a tank for gold. It is essentially a rip-off, in my opinion. You are trading in a tank that you already own for half the price of its gold to pay for a tank at full price of its gold. So it's not, the tank you're buying isn't on sale, and of course you're trading in your tank for half of the price. So if for example you're looking at a tier 10 heavy tier 8 heavy tank, they usually cost around 12,000 to 15,000 gold, roughly. You know, of course, there's less and more, you know. But essentially, if you then trade in a light tank at tier 8 as a premium, you only get 4,000 gold back. So you still only have like a discount of like 30%. Plus, you've lost a tank that you'll never be able to play again unless you purchase it. So yeah, in my opinion, definitely a terrible event. Unless, of course, you are never going to play that tank that you're trading in ever again, at which case I'd still probably just be like, wait till one of the tanks that you see on the list come up on sale as part of an actual sale and then just buy it outright, because yeah, then you don't have to get rid of one of your tanks, because you never know, you might want to play the tank that you trade in you know, a couple of months or in a year's time if you're still playing. But yeah, that's just my opinion on that event. Of course, you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to say you can't use it, and I'm sure there are cases where it's worth it, especially, for example, if you can trade in a tank that's coming up on the kind of earn operation. For example, if the Patriot was part of the trade-in event where you could trade it in, you've already got one, then it might be worth trading in your Patriot and then being able to get a Patriot back into your account rather than getting the silver value, which they'll reward you with if you already own the tank like I do. Either way, moving on, the Italian TD. So this is the big thing. and they were supposed to come in on the 23rd of May. So kind of annoying, but essentially what they've said is we plan to release our new tech tree line of Italian tank destroyers on May 23rd. During the development and internal testing, we ran into some unexpected technical difficulties with their design, and we wanted to share the cause and our future plans with you. The Italian tank destroyer turrets rotate on a diagonal axis instead of a horizontal axis to the hull. Because of this challenge, we are currently working on resolving the following issues. While aiming in the sniper view, rotating the turret to either left or right size causes the camera to swing. So yeah, that's brilliant, which makes like you feel like you're on a boat. This is always a brilliant thing. Our main priority towards you, aside from delivering the best gaming experience there is to make sure that our tank models come as close as possible to the real life counterparts. As a result, we design our tanks with this in mind, and sometimes it creates some unexpected problems. Rest assured that we're working hard on resolving the issue so that you can enjoy your upcoming tank destroyers, just like you can enjoy the real life tank that is the Teethbreaker and the Nemesis and the Lemon Russ, you know, all of these real life tanks, which is why they care so much about making sure that they look exactly the same, and things like the Machine, you know. Yeah, I definitely agree with this, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what they mean, especially when it comes to this sort of tank, but yeah, just a shame that they aren't going to be able to release them, but as I always say with these sorts of stuff, I'd rather Wargaming come clean and be like, these are going to be broken if we introduce them, like physically broken, like you can't use them properly. Yeah, then they release it and be like, here you go, here it is. We're going to fix it on the go, as like the tank is already in the game. Yeah, I'd much rather them just come out and say, it's going to be delayed. It's unfortunate that it's going to be delayed for a full month, so we won't be able to get them till June 27th, which sucks. But yeah, it is what it is. But we'll have to deal with that, I guess. And then there are some changes to how the Warhammer 40,000 event is going, and I think this is down to the fact that we're not getting as many points as hopefully they were expecting, and so they've said the Warhammer 40,000 event is now on the second week of Phase 1 and heading quickly towards completion to click off Phase 2. Keep up the good fight against the orcs, blah 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 blah. We have been monitoring the progression of Phase 1 and feedback from players in the challenges, and they appreciate your comments and feedback, blah blah blah. For the Emperor Challenge, they've removed the progressive difficulty system so that the requirements do not increase with each completion, so the requirement will remain at 1000 XP for each completion, so this is good. And then the same thing has been done for the Adeptus Mechanicus, so they've removed the progressive difficulty so that you don't have to keep doing it with like, you know, 10 or 20,000 XP to get the same point. And they've been monitoring our responses to the vehicles themselves. One vehicle in particular that stood out from the rest, with the early adopters expressing that Nemesis is not living up to experience or expectations, while we normally need at least 30 days of data to have a more accurate picture of a tank's performance. The initial data in this case was a bit concerning and matches the feedback players are experiencing. Who'd have thought that a E100 that gets literally 30% less health and has a gun that reloads slower than most tank destroyers at the tier, and also doesn't have the penetration potential of being able to load premium rounds, and doesn't really have good damage per minute, would be bad. I wonder why that would be. And also a E100 that had its armor nerfed, as I didn't actually realise in the review. I didn't think that Wargaming would nerf an E100's armor. Hello? I mean, the E100's armor in the first place is pretty trash, so the fact they even nerf that is pretty disgusting. But what have they done? Well, they've given the penetration up by 30mm, so you got 310 pen as standard on all three of the guns. You also get increased shell speed. Yay, finally! You don't have to act like you're firing a HE round, which has gone from 950 to 1200, which is very good. And the reload's also gone down by about 10%, which is Yeah, nice. Maybe even 15% by the looks of it. 2.5 or 2.6 seconds reduction in reload. So this is quite nice. So it looks like a 15% reduction, which means that you got 15% better damage per minute. So you're looking probably in the region of about 2,800 damage per minute for this tank destroyer from what I can remember. But of course you'll have to check that in the game when you have a look. But this will go live on Tuesday, so May 16th. So yeah, it'd be nice to see this one actually getting a buff. I think it would be a good change. And in addition, the aim time has also gone from 3.1 seconds down to 2.8 seconds. So it's basically more accurate, more DPM, better penetration, better shell speed. So the gun handling aspects of the tank are just better in all regards. So good to see. But the next thing is the questions or Q&A that Wargaming have done. So this was very, very interesting. And this is to do with both the Golden Week event, with some of the extra stuff that Wargaming are doing as well. And the first one is that how did the engagement go with the Golden Week event? So this is how many people actually interacted. So they said that they're currently still gathering data and will do some reviews internally, but I hope you had fun and enjoyed it. So from what I can gather, they're not going to actually tell us what sort of things actually happened with this. From my own opinion and feedback towards the Golden Week, I would have loved it if it wasn't on an external website. It was a pain in the ass to keep logging on and doing it every single day. It seemed completely pointless in my eyes. If you're going onto an external website to log in and you get 5,000 silver. I mean, that's pretty trash. I don't think anyone's going to like, hello, 5,000 silver. I mean, I could literally have spent the same amount of time in Cold War and earned probably 10 or 15 times how much silver I got from going onto the website, which of course is a pain anyway. And yeah, it was not seamless. So it would have been much better to have this sort of thing in the actual garage itself. But yeah, I can see why they probably do it in the way that they do it on a website, because it takes less developer time and they don't have to spend as much money actually doing something for the community instead. But yeah, brilliant. Is it possible to have the Grant's Top Gun on the turret be functional? It is possible, but there's no current plan, so they're not going to do that. Do we need to wait another 100 years to make the Centennial available again? So they've talked about it and debated a little whether we want to make the event available again, but no updates yet. So, I mean, this was an event special tank, so I don't know whether they should release it again. I mean, it was supposed to be for the 100 years, but yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Anyway, is there any way to get previous season tanks? Any tanks that are not available in the tech tree will be available in special sale events throughout the year, so stay tuned and keep an eye out for the events and announcements. How about more skins from PC? We cannot port over the PC skins. The skins, we have to create them in-house. We have artists busy making skins for upcoming season events, but maybe one day we'll have an artist available and see if we can adopt PC style skins into our game, which is essentially that there's an artist that is just making things for seasons, rather than being able to make stuff for us guys just on the fly, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Once again, I feel like I say that all of the time. We just always end up having to accept the fact that, yeah, they don't have as much development as you'd like to see, but maybe that's because the console version isn't as big as some of the other ones. But either way, when are we getting the German light tank and TD tech trees for Cold War? Possibly later this year, but we can't give any exact dates at this time. Once again, they'll just kind of they usually give a hint, maybe like 2 months before, maybe. It's usually really confirmed at the prior season. So essentially like towards the mid to late stage of the previous season, they'll kind of release the fact that there'll be a teaser as to, don't wait, there's French heavy tanks or French light tanks coming to Cold War or whatever, and stuff like that. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see when they actually come out. Any plans to add Kharkov map from Frontlines on console? So they did internally to see if we could run bigger scale battles on the consoles themselves, but there's many issues to have more than 30 players, and right now they can't support it. And the map itself maybe, and we will have more maps later in this year. So looking forward to the more maps. Doesn't seem like there's going to be any in the next month or two, so just be aware that we're probably going to have the same maps as we've currently got. Any new Eastern Alliance tanks coming? We do have an upcoming premium tank that belongs to the Alliance, but no dates to give as of yet. When will the BZ-176 be arriving in game? Unlikely to happen this year, so it's something that may appear in the game next year. Gotta wait a year, not surprised. Will there ever be any 3D skins on sale? Stay tuned later this month, we do have something coming. Skins on sale. When will the Thumper come to World War II? Sorry, this will never come to World War II. This is a Cold War tank. Yay! Finally! Don't worry, at least they didn't do it with the NM116 or the Turan. They went really well. Those tanks are completely balanced. I'm glad that they don't port over Cold War tanks into World War II. Brilliant. Any updates on a possible release for the Yo tanks? No updates, but it's something we'll be reviewing for next year. Yeah, not surprised. Any idea when the Sharpshooter contract will return? It's scheduled to release within the next several months. Interesting, that's a tier 9 mercenary vehicle. Why is fog not used on maps? This becomes a visibility issue. Trust me, oh my lord, you do not want fog or smoke or anything on console, because wargaming smoke just genuinely sends your FPS through the floor, like especially on the older consoles. It's just awful. So yeah, it was not good. This becomes a visibility issue. We have done Storm variants and they did offer different gameplay, but it became a problem for players to see targets, and then we also changed the view range and the radio range, and it just wasn't very well received, so we shelved the idea for the different weather variants. So yes, no weather variants. Those maps were just completely overpowered. Things like Pacific Island Typhoon, you had Steppe Sandstorm. It was basically a case of the camping Waffle E100s would just sit in the middle of an open field and basically not get spotted, and essentially just shoot at anything that did get spotted without getting spotted themselves. And it made very stupid plays possible that genuinely just should never have been able to be possible, which is why I'm not a big advocate for weather variants, but of course that's just my opinion, and it's more for the case of balance in the game rather than playability or having fun, because I could use them really well. You can have really good games if you do play it on the weather variants, but it's not really fun when you're just shooting people unspotted in the middle of an open field. Yeah, not particularly the most enthralling gameplay, which is why I feel like most people didn't like it. Can we get a premium T30? So the T34 Tier 8 Heavy is the premium version of the tank, so it already exists. I'm not sure that they got what the guy was asking here. The premium T30, which is the tank destroyer, that has of course 750 alpha, and they're saying the T34, the Tier 8 Heavy, is the premium version of this. Not quite sure. It doesn't really follow the same sort of trends, having a 400 alpha damage gun instead of the 750, although they do look very similar, understandably. But yeah, the T30, I feel like they were trying to make a case for a T30 version 2 or something like that with a little bit more alpha. Maybe even if it had 550 alpha or something like that, it would be interesting to see, but I'm not expecting it. It's probably not a tank, so yeah, I'm not surprised. Will there ever be a Challenger 2 TES Premium? Unfortunately, there is no, as this is a modern vehicle, and currently we're working on going to the Cold War period, and then they'll probably look at modern vehicles later on down the line. Any community maps news to share? We do need to schedule an event where we can have a community playtest, as it's a great time to talk with you players, but no updates on the map right now. So this is the community map that you could play in the actual community or custom games. So yeah, always interesting. Next Tanks Reforged, they do have a big list coming later this month. Halo update, maybe a Scorpion tank in Cold War. It all boils down to licensing discussions that we'd have to have with Microsoft. It's an interesting idea, and we would have to see if something like this fits well into our game. I mean, come on, you're doing a Warhammer 40,000 collaboration. I don't think you need to worry about whether it actually suits in the game. Granted, I did make a joke on stream about having the Scorpion tank in the game, and I have no idea that this would actually be asked to people in the official stream. I wouldn't recommend putting a Scorpion or a Wraith, as it, yeah, I don't know. maybe they will do a Halo season. It would be kind of cool to see in the game. I feel like it'd be cool to get like the 3D commander of an elite with a plasma sword or whatever you want to call it. Could kind of be cool. But either way, will there be a tier 10 tank sale anytime soon? Not this month, but there will be one available soon. Are you still considering having an arming time for missiles? Considering, yes, we are still sitting on a ticket for this. That would be good. Because obviously YOLOing with the armadillo, with the weasel toe and just literally sitting next to someone and firing a missile, it's not particularly very fun. Any hints on a next contract for a premium tank? Something German, apparently. Interesting. Why don't you have a design for a skin competition where players can influence a design? For legal reasons, we wouldn't be able to do something like this. I'm assuming that someone could say, oh, this is my design, and you're using it without my permission. So, yeah, I'm assuming it's something to do with that, and you're making money off of, like, copyright issues, essentially. But, yeah, I don't know. With the Italian TDs having so many issues, I'm sure that they could come up with some sort of, document that's like, you hand over all rights to the content for Wargaming to use, blah 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 blah, and you have no monetary stake in the idea. But yeah, seems like kind of a cop out. I'm sure that there are ways of getting around it. With the Italian TDs having so many issues, will you still be trying to bring the double barrel tanks to console? So yes, we have plans to bring them into our game, but the PC design is very complicated. So for console, we're trying to see if we can work this out with our secondary weapon system in a meaningful and easy to use manner. So yeah, I'm not sure. And they're saying they're having to come up with creative solutions to make it work because, as I'm sure you're aware, they're running out of inputs on the controllers. I would have just thought if you hold down the trigger, it would fire both of them at the same time. Maybe even if it was just like, I don't know the back end of World of Tanks console, so I'll leave it up to them. And then I'm trying to collect all of the British tanks. Any plans to bring tiers 1 and 2 back? It's not currently possible to pick up retired tier 1 and 2 vehicles, so a bit of a cop-out answer, but there it is. And hopefully that gave you all of the information for next week. There was a lot to unpack there, and of course you can go back and re-watch any of it, and let me know what you thought about all of the changes, not getting the Italian TDs till late June, June 27th to be exact. Apparently, of course, they could delay it even further. The new changes to the event, the changes to the Nemesis E100 tank destroyer version at tier 10. Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, thanks very much for watching, and I hope I'll join you in the next one. Goodbye.